This ain't Quality Stocks. Today's Tuesday, June 7th, 2011. And today we're going to take a look at Consortium Holdings, Inc. This is an OTCQB listed stock trading our ticker CSRH. This is a look at a 2-year weekly chart. I saw it on the daily chart. It caught my eye, and I wanted to see what it looked like in a longer term. So today we're going to run through this weekly chart because this is at a pretty important level right now. You can see it held a base, been consolidating sideways now since all the way back in September of 2010. The daily charts look nice. These weekly charts so far look good. See some of the classic things that we always talk about. Doesn't matter if it's a weekly chart, intraday chart, daily chart. Divergence, MACD trending right at 0 at this point. It's a place you always look for a larger move. This is one of those cases where the PPO and MACD have very different looks. Strong uptrend in the PPO heading back towards 0. You always look for that break of 0 as being a critical point, and the PPO is approaching that. You see through here, if we scroll straight up, there was the move, and then just a whole lot of sideways movement basically since that point. You can see the strength of the move, and just kind of in classic form. It's going sideways, kind of in a channel. There's not a ton of strength of the direction at this point, sliding back down. Pulled away from exaggerated levels. That's what you always look for. If it can come away from high points and not lose a ton of value, the ADX is still in a good position to try and make a rotation and a turn again. Like we always talk about, you want to see holding the upper half of the indicator. You can see the MFI still holding over top of 50. Accumulation distribution still in a slight uptrend. Reiterated by the Chaikin money flow, which is holding in the green, showing that buying pressure is still overcoming selling pressure. CCI, we always talk about, per definition, the break of 100 is the buy point. It would be a hold until it breaks back down through 100. Solid uptrend in the full stow, still holding over top of 50. Positive momentum in the play. And the tricks, becoming very close to that 0 mark. That's what you always look for. Strong uptrend back towards 0. Break of 0, stock becomes very bullish. I do have some concern. The RSIs are separated so far. See the 7 all the way up at 70. The 21 still down at 40. I like to see them a little bit closer together. You can see this stock sometimes doesn't do a whole lot. It'll trade for a solid week at one point without a lot of price fluctuation. When things like that happen, a lot of times you just can't get this 21 to get a lot of momentum behind it. So it's something just to keep an eye on. Right now it's basically in a bullish position, 7 and 14 holding over top of 50. You can see even the 21 holding a little bit of an uptrend to it. Of course, 14 is a little bit stronger. 7's more susceptible to whipsaws. Still uptrending, holding over top of 50. RSIs are still in a nice position. What I like about this chart lies in the fact that you can see just basically a solid uptrend going on. This kind of has a rounded look to it, and it seems like it's progressively just trying to make slightly higher lows and climb its way upward. Now, because this is weekly, a lot of times it does move a lot slower, but I really like the way these moving averages have tucked in underneath it, all starting to trend upward. Even the 50-day now is starting to trend upward. I'd look for a couple different things. Near-term support, I'd like to see it hold right around that 004, 0045. It's moved above it. That's holding it over top of the moving averages, and you can see it draws some support through there. Would perhaps take it just a little bit lower. Now, I'm not zoomed in close enough, but you can tell that that's upper 003s. Again, good support level through there. Holding over top of the 50 days is kind of the big deal to me, but I'm looking forward to trying to draw some support from these previous candles over the last year. So that would be my support levels. As far as resistance goes, I'm going to have my eye on this 0083 area. You can see it was a good support level all the way back here in the beginning part of 2010. It's peaked up a couple different times, poked above it, but slid back down. You can see the 50-day was definitely an area of resistance. That's why I say pushing through, that's a good thing, and starting to trend over top of it. And you can see how it's starting to turn the 50-day now. So that's going to be a big area of resistance for me. If it can break through there, of course, classic psychological barriers right at the penny, and I'd look for that. From there, moves should start coming faster and harder because there's not a whole lot of PPS resistance in the way from that point. Perhaps a little bit more right there. That's probably right around 2 cents, and then more up there around the 3-cent mark. Now, from where that is at this point, that's obviously just a monster move. It's not something I look for. I just think this chart is in a classic kind of position to put it on watch list and see if it can make a run, push through some short-term resistance right here. It's what I'd call secondary, right there around the 006 mark, kind of where it is. Don't like cluttering it up with this many lines. This is what I'd call secondary resistance. This line right in through here, I'll take that and double this up. I think is going to be more substantial, and it's going to stay kind of thick right up to the penny mark. So that area in this channel, these two thick lines, that's where I'm going to look for resistance to be tough, and that's what I'm going to have my eyes on with CSRH and see if volume's going to pick up and how it reacts if it can challenge those marks. If it wants to slip back downward, look for these support levels to hold, and for it just to try and consolidate in that area, then try and generate a little bit more steam to possibly make a run at the resistance. But overall, pretty nice look that Consortium Holdings has. This one's going to be hitting the watch list from here forward to see how it performs. As always, merely my interpretation of the CSRH chart. This is Andy with Quality Stocks. Thank you for watching, and trade smart.